And I'm actually gonna give y'all the chance to speak first because I'm really flabbergasted
Not
at
give y'all the
where
chance.
y'all are coming
Not give y'all the
Wow,
chance
this is
to speak first. It
unprofessional.
feels very targeted.
Wait, is he live? Wait,
Can I close the door and turn on the fan?
you can do whatever you need to do, baby.
from.
Let's not hit the door thingies.
Them always sound like farts to me.
The really? What you be going through over there in Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
He
I be
just be
over
pooping
here.
all in his room.
Right,
just so y'all
right.
know, we live. But we don't have no viewers yet, though.
I was about to say because I was just about to say so inappropriate. Like, booty
Let
hole
me
just
click this.
flapping
What
in
is
the
on
wind.
your face?
I was just going through the different filters,
This
seeing
is
which one I
chaotic.
wanted to
This
land
is
on.
about to be chaotic as fuck. Um.
What is
All
this?
right.
Just
Let
red on the
me.
bottom?
Okay. What are you? What is
I'm trying to
happening?
figure out what I want to land on, but I'm not. I don't know what this is. Just
Just
red on the
land
bottom.
on whatever is giving
Do that.
Lestat is king.
Okay.
We let you be in the middle. Y'all, welcome to a special edition of Kawaii Bree 123's channel. And we're a little off topic today, but we did an interview with the Vampire show, and we've talked about it a lot on Twitch. But I know over here on YouTube, it doesn't really get talked about a lot. But we did have an amazing response to our interview with the Vampire podcast that we kind of just did on the whim with Twan being a potato. And what was I think I just had red eyes with
Yeah, you had
my
those
set it off
vampire eyes.
braids. Yeah. But apparently little did we know at the time that was very appropriate because the girls in the comments were not having it. They were not happy with our takes on Lestat and Louis. And I already put a disclaimer that he is my toxic king. I'm gonna stand by my man. And y'all not gonna convince me he's a monster. So never, not never. So Ashley here is our special guest today, and she is here to bring us to trial to defend the honorable Louis, the missing the point, the lack, whatever his
Missing the
name is.
point, the lack.
And we are here to we're not gonna dog pile because we love
No,
Ashley,
we don't
and
do
we're
that.
so happy she came up here and talked. And just so y'all know, everybody who's watching, I will keep reminding people of this as people come in. We are having fun. So I also am quick to ban a hoe or a bitch, whatever you want to say. So we keeping it cute. We having fun. We like a little banter, but don't get too emotional, y'all. It's a story. It's a show.
Right.
And I do not approve domestic violence.
And also,
but these are vampires who I'm
I was
just
about
saying.
to say, also,
Yeah.
we each all know each other in real life.
Yes.
Ashley is also my best friend, so we talk to each other very disrespectfully on occasion. So don't let that fool you. Don't let that fool you. It's all love here.
Yes.
And we having fun.
With that being said, let's get into the toxicity.
Right,
okay?
bitch.
I'm ready. I'm so excited to be here with y'all victim blamers. It is gonna be great. I'm ready to get into it. So whenever
Okay. But before we jump right into the meat of the topic today, towards the end of our last stream we just ended, we brought up Love is Blind. So thought it'd be cute to just talk about a little Love is Blind for a little bit, get the blood pumping.
Yeah. What is with your pupils? Is that a filter?
It
It's
is
terrible.
It is.
Terrible.
It's all black.
Wait,
I
do y'all
love
like
it.
this orientation? I like this.
Yeah.
We a little less zoomed in. Okay.
Yeah, that's cute.
That's
my
cute.
face isn't so in the camera.
Yeah, bam. I
said,
just wanted to
"Back
see
it."
them lies coming out, I just want to see them
Right.
up close. Okay.
So Antoine, I was really surprised that you like the what's her name?
Zimbabwe.
Yeah,
Wow, the
Zoom
disrespect
back.
off top. Wow. Anyway, so
Zabuma.
let me go through.
Zaboom.
Wow. Wow, I'm not no part of this. I think all names, especially cultural names, are very beautiful. I don't partake in this, but my opinions on all the girls besides Colleen have evolved. I'll say that.
Okay.
Colleen kind of stayed the same for the most part. I was not feeling her initially, didn't feel her midway, and at the end, it did evolve. I feel bad for her now. But for the other four girls, Zeneb, I was initially irritated because I was kind of seeing issues on both Cole, obviously Cole's side, but then Zeneb kind of nitpicking and X, Y, and Z was a little odd. But then it's like you walk into a situation like what is Cole, and I can't blame you for getting a little tight because girl, that they did him dirty. They did him dirty when they did that room tour.
Oh yeah,
and they put that camera in that toilet.
Yeah, they didn't need to do that.
Yeah,
but even
was
still,
hating on him the whole time.
But
what about the cuties? What about cutie? Cutie gate.
Oh, that cutie. That was if it's 100% true, which I don't think is a lie. That like you need to calm down as well. I would have been like, I don't know why. Like I do know why because they all trying to stay on TV as long as they can. But I would have been done. I'd have been done when all the pieces were starting to get put together. I would have been done. I ain't about to marry nobody that I have this many reservations about, especially in this situation where we got married 7 days ago.
So you really only had a problem with Colleen?
So then I had an issue with Raven, but I kind of started to understand, especially when me and you talk, Bree, because when you start making the comparisons about like honestly taking. Yes, she agreed to be on the show. Yes, it's weird circumstances. Yes, she agreed to get married in 7 days, but that isn't. Everybody's not going to be like, okay, I'm this committed to where we can even fuck on camera. We can can sit here and make out. Like her body language was saying it all. I thought it was just from a place of her completely not being interested in him and just being there to be there. But like seeing them in the pool and they're having these really deep conversations, but at the same time, he hugs her and she's literally like this, talking to him still like this. And I'm like, damn, that's awkward. But as time went on and more conversations they were having and her really communicating what she was feeling, and it really changed for me when she shut Bartice down. When she shut Bartice down, I was like, I'm sorry, I read you wrong.
He's so intolerable.
Barracuda. So y'all must ain't seen the tea with SK and Raven in these past couple days.
I don't keep up with them like that.
I don't think he was cheating though, because this happened in Texas before he left. So it's not like it was a little jump off before.
The little receipts that the girl had, they were supposed to meet up in September of this year.
That was before he
I don't know nothing about what y'all talking about.
So they said SK apparently cheated on Raven. They saying
with his ex.
Yeah, with his ex. But the receipt seemed kind of iffy because he was still in Texas and it was before the show. And maybe he was like, we'll meet up. Because, you know, you go on there, you might not meet nobody.
Right.
Like, what is recent he was saying we finna meet?
Yeah, it was after the show's filming.
They had pictures together from May of this year.
Well, you know SK want a white girl, though.
I mean, Raven is this close.
She don't pass the one drop test. She don't pass the one drop test, though.
Right.
This close.
She is this close.
She said she even like really white identifies mostly.
Yeah.
Right? Like culturally, she doesn't even like black identify. So
that's like it's kind of different to me because I'm black passing. So I can be able to move in these spaces where I don't have the same.
I'm a turn twin volume down. Can y'all hear Ashley? Can y'all hear her? Because I know she ain't got a fancy mic like us. I just want to make sure because Twan is playing. I also identify as a white woman in America. Face ass.
I didn't say all that. I said I'm black passing.
Okay. She sounds fine. Okay, good. I'm just making sure her sound is balanced because I know we got she just. But no, go ahead, Ashley, because we're not spending a lot of time here because I don't.
Yeah, we just talk about a little bit.
But yeah, I don't like Zainab. I think she has borderline personality disorder. That's my main take.
And what did Cole say at the last? He was like, I need to get married to somebody that liked me. And it was very obvious that she did not like Cole.
You didn't
I
like
thought
it.
I
like
thought I
that
thought she
man.
did at first. Like the first their interactions, it wasn't until it really set in. Like I think it was that next day, like after they had sex for the first time, everything felt like it changed.
Yeah.
I don't think she
Everything.
liked nobody. I don't think she liked herself.
I don't
I
think
don't
she.
even
Ooh,
think she
damn. Well,
like.
now we can. We gotta have a show talking.
Self-esteem.
I'm definitely gonna try and tune in
It's
on
in the
wife
gut.
life advice to see what y'all dig into because there's a lot to unpack with every season of Love Is Blind. So especially this one.
This might be controversial, but I didn't find many people on this season attractive
Yeah, I
to
was
look
gonna
at,
No,
say.
even
did
on my
not. Nope,
TV. It
I
took a
did
lot
not.
to not turn my TV off. I felt like I was in the office.
Don't do that. I thought
I
John was. I thought the
I feel like if it wasn't so messy, I wouldn't
5%
be
she was
interested
cute.
at all. Cause I didn't like none of these people.
Did
Me
I like
either.
anybody?
I
I
didn't
didn't like
like
nobody.
anybody. There
No,
was
I
no
think
Raven
there
kind
was
of.
one person that was there before everybody got partnered off that I was like, oh, if they make it, that would be cute, but they didn't.
Yeah, Matt
Don't say
definitely gives a.
Andrew.
And
I don't
I
remember the
liked
names. I don't
Andrew,
I
remember the
did too.
names.
I thought he
Oh,
was
wait,
spicy.
Andrew. Who was Andrew?
the
Which
one
one was
with the
Andrew?
eye drops.
Who was talking about transcendental love making.
Some love making, eating her puss in the astral
It
plane,
was corny
honey.
for me the moment he stepped on screen. Y'all
That
can
was
save
corny
that.
but
I was
entertaining.
He was
off that.
corny, but Nancy corny. Like Bartiz was just
Oh,
like
very much so.
insulting her every day. It was like from the point he said Raven's a smoke show, he literally reminded her ass every episode how unattractive he
But
was.
the
Like
way she was like, how do you be a human being and consider yourself grown and not look at the way this woman is looking at you as you tell her this information and not feel weird?
because
Like she
Nancy,
was processing a lot, it seemed, but honestly not acting on nothing. She was just taking it.
she desperate. It was giving desperate because he was insulting her constantly. I feel like the episode would come on and it'll open with Bartiz and Nancy, and the first sentence of every episode was the emotional connections there.
Physical
I'm just not
attraction.
attracted to you.
But when we
And
get to
by
the
the way,
physical stuff and the physical things,
right.
He called her everything but an ugly bald headed hoe. Like he really
She
did. It
bald
was
headed.
like, damn.
She got no ass. She not Raven. She not light skinned. Like
and it was the cringe of, like it's so bad when people honestly reference their sexiness. He's like, well, their quote unquote sexiness, because honestly, quite as kept out, Bartiz ain't really blowing up no skirts over
it's the
here.
hair for me. Yeah.
Oh, a bitch on the reunion we had that shit in that. Let me leave it alone. Anyway.
Struggle bud, bitch.
Mm.
It was the afro puff. But it feel like it didn't get the acknowledgement in the curl pudding it needed to be great.
It was like, this is not the man bun that we are choosing today, baby.
It was a man afro puff. I feel like he was trying to do something new there.
Yeah,
I feel like
that coupled with his hairline, and I was just
and his ugly ass face.
your
Sorry,
people
go
really
ahead.
let you go on national television with that on your head.
Yeah,
that's how you know people around Bartiz obviously don't care for him a lot.
No, they all think they tens because his ugly ass friends had the nerve to say Nancy wasn't cute. And when I saw them at the wedding, I was like,
I liked his sister. I liked Bartiz's
his sister's
sister.
cute. Yeah,
I liked his sister. His sister,
nice.
honestly, I liked his sister more than anybody.
You liked his sister when she started crying over the abortion thing. I was like, really, bitch?
But
no,
why he brought that up at the dinner? Meet Nancy.
That is
she
true.
wants to abort special needs kids.
Yeah. Like, why would you say that?
And she was standing 10 toes down on it. It was like, girl.
It made her look
and then she was giving, like, and Bartiz did call her on that. She was giving all the extreme examples. She wasn't giving no like oops or like, like not playing for it. No,
she said a baby with Down syndrome. I was like, dang, they could still live full healthy lives.
Like, right.
She said, let them DNA test at 10 weeks be a little bit off.
And I'm thinking, like, how are you, like, you the one that's like teaching these kids, and you say you're around them all the time. I'm just imagining you just like, oh, they should have put you down. Oh my God.
Yeah, where she work?
I'm so sorry you here right now. Like, dang, girl. Yeah, what if she work? Let's find that out. Let's find that out.
But Nancy got a check though. I thought Bartiz was gonna wipe her up after she started talking about how much money she made.
Oh yeah, that was true. That is true. But that whole shit with the husband, now I could like it, and that's the thing that I hated that Bartiz had, because there were some stuff that when Nancy was spitting that I was just like, but this is like he was having legitimate problems on top of his bullshit. So it was like, sometimes he would be saying
Yeah,
stuff. I'm like, why he actually got a reason now
that's true.
to do anything or say anything. But yeah, I wasn't gonna watch this season, but it's them train
ain't
wrecks.
power
Sometimes you
to
just can't stop watching.
Yeah, I'm gonna go stir the chili pot 1 second, but
Okay,
you will get our last thoughts out about it, and then we'll go
cool,
to the main event.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right
nice.
back too, Twan. I gotta.
Okay, I'll talk to myself.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. But one thing I'm not gonna do is watch Ultimatum when that come back out. I'm going to probably listen to what everybody else is saying about it, but I'm probably gonna watch like I say I'm gonna watch one episode, and it's probably gonna turn into 20 all of them because that's what I did with the last one. Ultimatum is not. It's the
Oh, is it
definition of
coming
mess.
back? Is it coming
Now
back?
I don't know if it's coming back, but I'm not. Now I'm standing my ground. I'm not watching Ultimatum season 2. I'm just not doing it. It's
Oh, the
the
last season was
definition.
so toxic.
It's the definition of idiocy. Like every decision people make, the whole premise of the show is just no. I can't do it.
All right, I'm changing the ticker. Any final thoughts about it before I change over? I know that was like a sneak preview. We're gonna have to come back and have this whole ass conversation. I can't
Yeah,
wait to see the
because
after the altar too.
there's people I want to. After the altar.
Oh, you muted.
Last thought is the one couple that I did not plan to like as much was one of the couples that ended up together, and that was Bennett or Brennan.
I don't
Brennan.
like him.
I'm sorry, the reunion turned me over on their side
Because he
because
got
they were.
spicy out of nowhere. Like, what?
But I think that
you just had to pipe up.
I feel like his relationship with her has really attempted to bring him out of his shell more.
Yeah,
So I
she
feel
leveled
like he
him
was
up.
he was trying
He
to
be
get
around
hyphy
money
with her.
too. He money
Hello?
adjacent now. So he
Hello,
probably
and them some abrasive, and I don't want to say abrasive, but they some loud ass family members. So I feel like he's coming more out of his shell. He just wanted to pipe up with his girl because they were reading. They were calling it out. I was like, I like y'all now, especially the girl. I didn't really love her, but I like her now.
I really did not appreciate how Cole and Bartice did the same exact thing, and they ran Cole through the mud. Like, I was never a Cole fan, but they didn't have to treat him like that and not go in on Barstool.
But did you
way.
hear about his parents apparently being racist and MAGA, and that's why they didn't want to come to the wedding? Yeah, Cole's parents.
I mean, Matt is a whole Donald Trump fan, so that.
but that's never like.
And that's also
not
a shocker, right?
It's not shocking to me that a person who has like, if they're white and they have parents that they're probably conservative or red or like,
all of that plus anger issues and legitimately no lip. It's like all of that stuff together creates a Trump supporter. You can't convince me otherwise.
I hate you.
You saw how Matt was sitting there. He screamed Trump supporter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he screams, he drinks Bud Lights. It's too many, and he turns red and he gets violent. That's what that gives. His ears get all red. He be sweaty. Like that's
where were you on January 6th, sir?
Right. Curious. Like, why is Matt on? He need to go to therapy. Like, he don't need to be on here. But I think also Cole got married quick too, and I feel like with Cole's chaotic ass energy, his parents probably like, we is not doing this shit.
But I also can imagine the girl that he was married to being like, 4 months is enough.
Right.
4 months is enough. I understood. I understood.
Like, no, this isn't a recording. We're live talking about Interview with the Vampire. Jay, welcome to the stream.
Well, we're about to.
Critically Drinking said he loves watching you dissolve into the wall, Ashley. So.
Yeah, because she stopped while I was talking to myself for a little bit, like just standing there, and then she disappeared.
I was just looking at you.
So we're gonna move into the main event. So Ashley, as the person who brought us, want to call us out on our crap, and you watched the podcast. Did you see I just want to know how much of our opinion on it
I actually, it was me and Antoine talking, and I was taken aback because surely not you and Antoine have the same opinion. I took it personally. And so I wanted, he was like, yeah, I didn't watch y'all's podcast because I hadn't watched the last episode of Interview with a Vampire yet. Mm-hmm. So I was going to go back and watch it, so that I could have talking points to rebuttal or whatever. But I was like, you know what? No, I don't want to come into it knowing anything because I heard a little bit of Antoine's point of view, but he said Brittany is gonna argue you down. So I was like, I'm ready to be argued down.
He said I took it personally. I'm not. We're gonna do a circle. We're gonna go around and we're gonna just say a statement about our perspective at the beginning. So for me, y'all not finna paint my baby as a monster. Okay. He has some issues, but Louis is just as abusive as Lestat. That is my stance. Okay. So y'all you go next. You can go ahead and give your stance.
My personal stance is that Lestat, because not taking into account all the other, adaptations of Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah, we talk about this one.
He
I told her that we watched that other
down one of the most vulnerable people that he can, which is a black man in 1910 who's very much gay and in the closet. And the head of the household, his family is dependent on him. He's struggling with a lot of stuff. And Lestat looked at that and he saw an opportunity and he took it. And to me, Louis' reactions to everything is very much reactionary. And I could imagine after years of abuse by dealing with Lestat, that any reasonable vampire would act the same way. So that's my stance.
Okay. Twan.
I think Lestat my baby did. And I'm joking. No. I honestly feel like there is wrong here. There's manipulation, there's abuse on both ends of Lestat and Louis. I would love to rest on a 50-50 split. My heart won't let me. Because as I watch the relationship unfold, there are egregious things that have been done by Lestat. And there are odd, confusing, and also manipulative things done by Louis. And when I think about people trying to make things work, because both of these people are in love with each other, and they have admitted this. Louis has said that he has all of me, blah, blah, blah. So when I think about who's really trying to make this work here, the only answer I got is Lestat. And that's my statement.
Okay, so everybody has made their statements. Critically Drinking said Lestat is intentional, lacking Louis. He's just hasn't seen himself yet. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, wait, what was your last point, Antoine? What did you say?
To sum it up, Cliff Notes, I wanted to be 50-50, but I believe that out of the two of them, when it comes to who's trying to actually make some things work with this relationship the most, I'm going to go with Lestat.
Okay, yes, that's what I wanted to point out. Because who is he trying to make this relationship work for? Well, how is this relationship beneficial to Louis at all? It's not. It's beneficial to Lestat, and that's all he was thinking about. He's very selfish, very self-serving, and
that's what we do. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we do, apparently.
I mean, what is this an issue of love languages? Because I'm just like,
is love languages what we talking about?
Because Louis, he didn't do nothing for Louis.
Yeah, that's why I was waiting for her to get her whole thought out, because that was some points I want to make. But go ahead.
But even the stuff that he did for Louis was very self-serving. Sorry, y'all.
So Claudia was self-serving initially for him?
Yes.
Yes,
okay. because Louis basically gave him an ultimatum like, this is the only way I'm gonna stay is if you turn Claudia, which was emotionally manipulative.
He didn't say
for the most part. He
begged him.
He strong-armed him pretty much.
He begged him.
Louis strong-armed him into turning Claudia.
Yes.
Right.
He did. But And that's what I'm saying. So even though in some in a lot of ways he did it for Louis, but for the most part it was still self-serving because he didn't want to lose Louis.
True. I
I
think
mean,
that is
but
the reason why he pulled the trigger. Absolutely.
yeah, that's like if your wife want to have a baby really
But
bad,
that's not
and you like, well, I don't like kids. I think we good. We chilling, but I mean, girl, if you really want a baby, like, okay,
I
have
would
your
beg to
baby.
say if you really don't want a baby, you should not let nobody convince you into having a baby, even if it's your wife, because you
But
know
what is
better.
his draw? What is his reason
Yeah,
for following through? Because he loves Louis that much. Because he
oh
doesn't
yeah,
want to lose Louis. Because Louis, oh, she
yeah.
disappeared
She went
again
out.
into the
Yeah, she
background.
just yeah.
She
It was
every time
asking
she
her
do that
son.
now,
You
every
know,
time,
mommy life. She went
every
into
time
the
she do
astral
that,
plane.
right? I'm gonna think of two movies: Harry Potter disappearing into that train, and Homer Simpson falling back into that bushes.
We did. I just, but no, you can't. No, so it's really people out here on Beyonce's internet saying that Claudia being turned was Lestat fault,
It is
problem,
not. It is not.
idea,
It is not. It is
Yes, it is.
not.
failure.
It is not.
How is it not?
It is not, because it
Louis,
would have never happened if he wouldn't have brought her there. She was going to survive, which was pointed out by Claudia. And she
Right,
addressed it, and he didn't have an answer for her because he knew that shit was true. She was like, why
right.
if I was he was like, but you were barely breathing, but I was breathing. So why didn't you take me
Mhm.
to a hospital? Why didn't you take me to somebody that could fix
because
me versus
Louis actually was the selfish one who decided to turn Claudia for his
exactly
own emotional
emotional
appeal.
And it
damage?
and we could get so much more into to why maybe Lestat felt bad because he wasn't emotionally ready to be in a relationship with a black man in 19 whatever it was, and all the
Right.
repercussions that come behind that insofar
Yeah.
as trauma like yeah, generational trauma, and just seeing what, because that's why Claudia was in that predicament, was because of him and the way he couldn't control himself.
Right.
And Lestat's able to be that way with seemingly no repercussions, but he can't do the same thing and it not turn around on him and his whole community. So maybe he was feeling bad about that, and I know that's what Louis was feeling bad about, which is why he wanted to turn Claudia or whatever, which was very selfish. But at the
It
same
was.
time, you have this vampire that's 100 some odd years old, who is older, more experienced, and you set this man out and basically let him set himself up and his community, and now it's staring you right in the face. And instead of making a reasonable decision and not turning this young girl and snapping Louis out of it, you go ahead and do it just because he's begging you.
Because he emotionally manipulated Lestat with the ultimatum. Almost, and also, I do agree with you though. Lestat was not prepared to be with a black man at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, that's something interracial couples can deal with even now. Like, so
Right.
we already know Lestat was not equipped in all of the nuances of dating a black man, especially during that time. So I will give you that, but like,
And
Louis didn't listen to nothing Lestat said ever when he would try to warn him, like, just do this, just chill, let it roll, like, let it do this, let it do that. And even when
mm-hmm.
Lestat killed, like, this is my problem with Louis. He is a rage monster who never takes accountability for his feelings. And then when he finally lash out, it always be the most.
Yeah, like
Wait,
Like
when he
Louis or
ripped that
Lestat?
no Louis.
Louis.
When he ripped that
Okay.
nigga in half and
And
posted
you
his
hung
body
him
up,
on the gate.
which caused
Now,
all that shit.
you can say Lestat was unequipped and unaware, which yes, he could not. But Louis, as the black person in the relationship now,
Mm-hmm.
you went and did that, and you now Louis,
Like you just safe. Like people ain't
you
gonna
now
think of who might could have done this, who got relations to this man, who been done wrong recently. And on top of that, you a nigga.
Well, you got to think about it. This all happened at the beginning stages of him being like, you can't say, if you got turned into a vampire back then, you wouldn't want to get revenge on a couple folks either. He wasn't doing
yeah.
he wasn't doing that kind of stuff after Claudia. I think that after the riots,
he was. He ripped that man's whole jaw off for no reason.
Oh, that was terrible.
For no reason.
That was after?
Yeah.
He was always a violent killer, though.
I think that was the last episode.
Yeah.
Oh, the last episode. Okay.
Yeah, he swiped and just ripped that man's whole jaw off when all they was trying to do was feed.
Right. He probably didn't need to do all of that.
He was always violent, though. Like, out of everybody, Louis was always, I think he tried to, like, quiet his, he tried to
with the animals,
hold back and stuff. But when he did finally give in to what he wanted to do, I feel like it was always.
But how long did it take him to give in to what he wanted to do? It wasn't until the last night where he finally decided, well, outside of, after what happened with Claudia, outside of before the riots and whatever, it wasn't until the night that they were going to kill Lestat. Louis is emotional.
I was just showing that he's emotional neglect. I think he's emotionally abusive to Lestat as well. Like, I think they're both abusive to each other, which is why y'all not gonna sit here and make Louis be like he don't be. Louis is emotionally abusive to Lestat's physical abusive.
I would say
the power dynamic.
That it's more reactionary with Louis, because the whole basis of them getting together was so manipulative and abusive. Like,
it was abusive? What was abusive about the way he seduced him? He seduced him though.
Yeah, that's how they got there to that church scene. There, he fully seduced him and was courting him in that way. Like, he wasn't like what they call it, mind control. He wasn't doing all that stuff. He genuinely won his heart and his affection. Because up until then, he wasn't doing no crazy shit until the church.
Yeah, I feel like he didn't do no crazy shit until the church.
They had relations at the house, and
which was fire.
It was everything.
It was amazing.
Fire.
But remember, Louis ghosted him. Louis didn't want to have nothing to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
No, Louis didn't want to accept that he was gay and finally acted.
That's because he cut it off. He cut it off immediately.
Right.
When they had amazing relations, he found a part of himself he never knew before. The way he attacked that thumb, the way he ran at that thumb,
which was nice.
And then he said no.
Louis was trying to fall back. Was he fighting with his own demons? Yes, but Louis was trying to fall back. It was Lestat who would not let it go, because remember, after his brother killed himself and his mother was blaming him for his brother's death, Louis came to the funeral and was like, "Hey, bitch, like, where you been?"
he was out of pocket. Like, he was really out of pocket. Because he came up, he was like, "So did you see that movie last week?"
Right.
Like, bitch, are you ghosted? They don't have text, Ashley. How he was supposed to ask him about the movie?
Whatever
he had to catch you outside. I gotta catch you outside.
Well, I know you're gonna be. Your brother just died, so you gotta be there. Now tell me about this movie.
Louis was not in the emotional headspace to deal with that. So even after he caught up with him, Louis left, got drunk, went to a church, tried to confess his sins, and Lestat came and killed 2 people right in front of him. Remember,
he was like, "I gotta let you know what you're about to get into before."
Some girls like roses, some girls like shopping trips, some girls like acts of violence right in their face.
I did not mean to pick this filter.
And Louis tried to kill Lestat. When Louis was like, "Okay, well, that shit ain't gonna work," because obviously,
try to kill him.
Yeah, when he was stabbing him in his back with the.
Oh yeah, he tried. Yeah. And so see, this is my problem with Louis. You went real quick for bitch. So really, you tried to stab me and then accepted my invitation to be my boyfriend.
After all,
my life partner. After you just tried to stab me, and I forgave your raggedy ass.
That was true, because that was.
I never threw it in your face. I never threw it in your face that you stabbed me in the back with a stake. Because you thought it was gonna kill me.
He just ripped preacher's guts out. Of course he tried to kill that man. He was scared for his life.
Okay, but then you quickly became my companion. So either you bitch made and you couldn't just accept your death like a man, or you just really wasn't feeling that way and you just tried to kill me. I don't know. I think that was cute. Why you keep changing filters?
I was trying to find something else, but
This a filter you have on because you look like you in WandaVision.
not WandaVision, bitch. I'm phasing through.
You got these red lines like you in WandaVision trying to break through
the force field. That is very true.
That's what you look like
I'm gonna have to
now.
find something to do that with.
The chat had, he said we don't even know for sure what decision people are making for themselves around Lestat. Well, he said he couldn't read
exactly
his mind, but Louis definitely made a choice. I feel like you have to ask a person. Like he was like, "Do you want to be my king?" I don't think
an illusion of a choice because keep in mind all that stuff had just happened, and this man is like, "I can give you a life where you could be who you want to be and live the life you've always wanted," which was a lie because that's not true.
Wasn't.
That was not a true. That was not a lie.
That was not a lie. Louis just rejected it.
Now, because we gonna go into act 2 of this after we finish this initial argument because I got supporting facts.
Louis didn't reject. Louis was trying to hold on to his humanity, but outside of that, all of this stuff has happened. Keep in mind, Louis is still under the influence. He is still under the influence, and all this stuff just happened around him. And Lestat's like, I could give you this, this, and this. You just gotta nod your head. And reluctantly, he did. And then they had really juicy whatever they did, and that was nice. But I feel like it was an illusion of a choice. If Louis had really said no, do you really think that Lestat would have took that no?
He would have killed
him. Probably.
He would have probably killed him.
So it's either I die or I become this person's companion for life.
But I don't think Louis was. I don't think that was the choice in Louis's head though. I think it was him getting over, like he even like it was in that ending little dialogue he gave. He was saying that despite this barbaric scene that I'm witnessing right now, like in that moment, that's what he wanted to do. In my mind, there is no real manipulation when it comes to not manipulation, but there's no real question as to their willpower because it's not like in other vampire type cinema where when you get sired by somebody you have this bond, this unquestioning, you can't get away from them ever. Because Lestat turned Claudia. Claudia don't give a fuck about Lestat. Claudia don't give a shit. She is not held to him. She's already left once. She tried to leave again.
He loved. It was the love.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like that. It reaffirms to me that between Louis and between Lestat, there is genuine love. There, it's a powerful love. It is a vampire love, a vampiric love, and that is where my arguments start to begin when it comes to like placing blame and stuff. Because at this point, now they're in this relationship. Now they're here, regardless of how we got here. He is now in this life and they are choosing actively to be with each other and to make this thing happen. So when we get to a place where we start to see divisions, to me, it is kind of all stems from Louis. And when Lestat is attempting to compromise, keep in mind, this is compromise from a man, how you were saying, is 100 and some odd years old and has been done whatever he wants kind of unchecked. And now he's, after 100 years of his last time turning somebody, he's doing things like letting you like giving you the option to feed on rats and bugs and shit outside of humans, because that is apparently what you want. Granted, that's not, he knows this, like you were saying before, like why wasn't he telling them this stuff? He knows better, blah blah. So he tries to guide them in a way that's like, this is your nature, this is who you are, this is what we do. Granted, you can feel however you want to, blah blah blah, but this is who we are. Get to cut to, he's making concessions like, fine, we can only kill evil people. Go get an evil person. Got them right here for you to choose, because this is what you wanted. You brought this up, killing people that do bad instead of just randomly killing people. And you don't do it. You sit there while this man is seizing on the ground and you eat a rat. So not only do you have the opportunity to possibly get Lestat on a good path of killing people, you shit on it and move forward like it was never a thing. And he did the same thing. He was just
over here doing that shit just to see what kind of, like, how far he'll go.
Right.
Like how far he'll go for you. And it was never enough. It was never enough.
It really
was.
wasn't.
I mean, it was never enough. Like, because I think Louis couldn't accept his nature in all the ways for himself, and so it wouldn't matter what Lestat did. Like, that's where Lestat fucked up. Like, you can't make somebody okay with themselves if they're not, like, really at the end of the day.
And he was never okay with himself. He wasn't even okay. He hadn't been okay.
Right.
So
I do agree.
I mean, insofar as compromise, I don't know. When did Lestat, outside of Claudia, before that, when did Lestat start making compromises that put himself in a position that he didn't like?
He turned even if Claudia.
He was like, I said before Claudia.
Okay, well,
he was buying Louis whatever he wanted to buy. He was like, you can. He wanted to go out to people. He said, you know what, you can deal with other people. I mean, they had their issues.
Yeah, the biggest one, as far as what I bring up as an example of compromise, was the killing bad people versus just randomly killing people and making sport of it.
Yeah, he was really because that was his.
Shit. He was really trying to force this whole we can both eat birds. No, bitch, I'm gonna let you eat birds, but don't push that on me.
See, Louis like that toxic girlfriend that she want to go on a diet and be all gluten free, and now we got to be up here eating dry cardboard ass pancakes because you want to be gluten free.
If we want to talk about gluten, selfish, we could talk about how
not to underlying.
Okay, hold on. Before we move to the next point, I just want to shout out to the chat. I do see
the chat is going in.
He's critically drinking said how much of Louis is dealing with is Lestat moving the chess pieces around of humans around him. Y'all not finna bring stuff that's not proven up against my man. So if it's not factual, all this guessing, we're not doing it, okay? Anne Rice herself said that Lestat did not have anything to do with Paul. So if you are trying to slick slide, say that my man made Paul kill himself,
right?
It's not a fact. Okay.
Now, Bree, I did, just to play devil's advocate, I did talk to you about how even though he didn't mind control Paul, he didn't kill him, he didn't force him off. His presence and him being there definitely triggered Paul. So I get that. I
like inadvertently, he was too intense for Paul.
Right. And so, like, even though Louis was thinking that he actually did it, I can't blame him for having resentment for being a part of it anyway.
I just have to shout out to Critically Drinking because I haven't been looking at the comments. They are absolutely gaslighting me. Thank you.
Okay. Well, my husband is Lestat, so if I didn't give his life to, what kind of Lestat wife would I be? I'm his equally yoked wife. Thank you. So that's what we do. He said in the books, Lestat eventually does go to only drinking from bad people. Nine Tail Phoenix said. Lisa Rodriguez said, let's support our girl Kauai and like this post. We know she already in her feels about Lestat. Y'all already know.
Ridiculous.
They told you to stay in the sunlight, Ashley. Don't
stay in the sunlight.
Tell me to say Louis. Paul said, Nigel said Paul was mentally unwell. The whole asking about Louis getting married before falling was his note.
Now, I don't think that Louis had anything to do with Paul dying, but I think that he knew about Paul wanting to kill himself and being at that brink and didn't do nothing about it.
I don't know if he wanted to kill himself.
You talking about Louis didn't do nothing about it? Because that would be so on brand. It still would be on brand.
I think he knew and just didn't do anything about it.
The only reason. Oh, go ahead.
I was watching one thing and she pointed out something that made sense, that like Lestat, the way that he killed people, he didn't go, he wasn't too messy. Like he didn't go for the people that were top notch or whatever because he didn't want to get caught. And so in retrospect with Louis, he wouldn't have killed because he kept his whole family intact for the most part. So that, because if he would have stepped over that boundary, he would have lost Louis forever. Like for real. If he would have killed his mama, if he would have killed his sister, brother, whatever. So that's why I think that Lestat didn't have anything to do with Paul dying, because he wasn't trying to cross that boundary to where like Louis would have cut him off for good. I think that's
Louis made a which goes to show, because Louis non-boundary setting passive ass didn't set boundaries. That's why Lestat was out here doing whatever. Because when Louis was like, absolutely not, Lestat was like, okay, I'll chill.
I don't know.
Did he not? Did he not?
Yeah, he did.
Besides, the only time Louis want to have something to say is when. Anyway, we ain't even got
But
there
still,
with Antoinette.
Lestat still did what he wanted to do regardless. Thank you for bringing up Antoinette, because that is a perfect example of Lestat saying one thing, doing another, and then turning around and getting mad at Louis when he did the exact same thing.
Did he do the exact same thing?
He didn't do the exact same thing. Because
so you telling me he got some head from somebody in a forest, and Lestat, oh creepy ass, is running in the background talking about
I heard your heart dancing.
Like,
That was,
what is that?
what colorful?
And
Like,
Louis
he heard
didn't-
their hearts dancing. What do you? I mean,
And that's the thing too, because I and this is also something, and I'm just like, take this with a grain of sand because this is arguably speculation. I feel like because with Antoinette there was this, you know, he admitted it in that argument when it came to Louis being like, I'm not enough for you, blah blah blah, and he was like, listen, I just like tasting other shit, you know, like
he like a little puss.
This
on
always
the side.
been me
was
playing.
Louis
This
gonna
always
get a puss? They was not the same. It was not the same.
That's why it leads me to at first I feel like Antoinette's relationship, she was, you know, his fun, and then it got to that place where they have this division in their relationship, you know, especially when Claudia came around, and
Right.
and it's like all these different things that Louis isn't really processing that he's doing. Like he is sitting here chastising, judging, neglecting, like mentally attacking this man over who he is, because that honestly I feel like is the stem of it. It's like who Lestat is, he's just not comfortable with the killing, blah blah blah, all that other stuff. And he does his little things to try and like not compare himself to Lestat by doing the whole animals and everything. But then you got Claudia coming to the picture, this girl who you churned and only been aware of her for however many months or whatever, and this girl is sadistic. She's the definition of the things that you just cannot stand Lestat for. She's out here murdering whole families, parades of people, keeping souvenirs, taking their last words in diaries.
She got nipples rolled up in the sock
nipples
drawer.
rolled up in the sock drawer, titties folded like shirts,
and the Marie Kondo fold on titty meat.
Hello, like got that shit under her chin, talking about something. Like, no, this isn't cute. But you put everything on the line for Claudia. You sacrificed your relationship for Claudia. When she came back after leaving you and still doing what she's doing, she comes back and immediately you ready to leave Lestat. So how the fuck is he supposed to feel when he's been doing all of this shit?
He felt responsible for it. He was responsible for Claudia. So it's one thing to be like looking at your maker and be like, damn, this motherfucker made me. And you have to admit, Lestat also chastised Louis for just being who he was, for wanting to hang on to his family, for not wanting to kill people.
Because he knew his nature. He knew his nature. The same way you talking about he was supposed to guide him.
Louis was a pimp who threatened his own brother to stab him in the street.
Let's go ahead and talk about how he wasn't no fucking angel.
Which is what Louis said in the confessional. He not a good. He even said later, I was never a good person.
That laundry list of bullshit he was doing. That laundry
I'm sorry, y'all not gonna do this because Louis was not a good person.
Saint.
That's the whole point. Louis was not a good person. Let's not act like he said that himself. He wasn't a good person.
But how was he a bad person?
He said he was a bad person. He said
I was about to say from everything that he said.
He was fine with murdering people. He was fine with stealing. He did whatever he wanted.
He manipulated these women. He would hold their positions and stuff over their heads. He would all the shit that he listed.
Terrible person.
Horrible.
And
we just saw the correct charismatic good parts.
And then Lestat was not one.
No, Lestat's terrible too.
Right.
Yeah, Lestat's terrible. Lestat's horrible.
They equally terrible though. They equally terrible. No, it's equal.
And so far as this relationship,
he punched through a priest. So,
right,
y'all know what priests be doing,
right?
Maybe he needs to get punched through.
He can read their minds. He heard about little Timothy.
I'll give Lestat Louis' family, but even then, he killed the two people that he was very close with, Lily and the priest.
Very true. Well, yeah, very true. Very true.
And for what reason?
I'll give you that.
And for what reason?
I'll give it to you, bitch.
I
don't know, because killing Lily irritated
I do
me.
think he definitely isolated Louis. I can definitely say that he isolated him by he just knocked off the pieces of the chessboard. He knocked out his competition. Okay.
And that's very emotionally abusive as well.
Yeah.
Okay, we got
like
you. We'll give you a point. We'll give you that point.
That ticker said ding.
That ticker said ding. I'll give you that point. But what you not finna get is how Louis was so ready to take Claudia back. And that would have made me snap too.
That
I'd be like, oh, bitch.
Come
so
on.
When it's me, it's a problem. Okay. When it's me, it's a problem. I'm sorry, y'all, because I almost. Okay.
Well, because
like we gave you that, but like, what's your argument to that? Because we gave you that point. Do you got a real rebuttal to that? Because I'm so lost at that.
He really had unconditional love for Claudia. It's what it was. He had unconditional love for Claudia, like how people have with their kids, but not Lestat.
Right. I mean, I can't rebuttal that because it's true. He had and Claudia did not use the same. Again, it's like a power thing. Lestat is so much older than him and has so much more experience. He's able to do these things like take away all the people that mattered for the most part around him. And then he already knew his family was on the out, so now his family is gone. And so Louis was basically alone in this situation with Lestat. I don't see how he couldn't have reacted by not showing him holding back love. That's the only power move he really had, which was holding back that part of himself from Lestat, because honestly, Lestat didn't deserve it because he's a piece of shit.
So if we going through all of this, go ahead.
I wanted to. Antoinette was Antoine in the book, so they changed it so there was a lady, which is interesting. They said that would have hurt more. Yeah, they should have left that because, like, for me, it's like, well, he like little puss on the side. So I mean, you got the parts, you ain't got the parts. I mean,
I would argue that Lestat turning.
Wait a minute, I just processed that.
Oh, right, you would have been in the book.
Y'all could have told me shit, bitch. Let Antoinette have been a dude. Y'all, you see the name. The name is the name for a reason. De Leon Court.
I don't know. I feel like the only person who was a monster in that whole house was Claudia.
To be honest,
she was vicious. She had no empathy. She had no like backstory or trauma why she was doing it. I mean, she did have trauma, like being turned and your body being stuck. She had rage. Like it was just like rage, rightfully so. I mean, she does have a point, but it's like
it was that psychotic break in the coffin that she had.
Yeah, she had a
like that whole episode. Like it was the processing of, and that was the thing too. That was just like think about this. Like the reason I'm not giving so much to Lestat on this, and I'll be honest, is because he's 180 or whatever. Yeah, he knows what this is. He knows the reason why they don't be making baby vampires. But at the same time, what the fuck does Lestat really give a fuck about? Like he both, honestly, Louis and Claudia, he could just kill y'all and start over. To be honest, if he really was about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like
try to kill Louis, so
he didn't try, because if he wanted to kill Louis, he would have killed him. I mean, he really would have killed him. He was just being dramatic.
But he was that whole levitating over their bodies, and then y'all. Well, no, they didn't immediately get there because he had to go away for a while.
That was dramatic.
You can't say that Lestat is not a monster when even in the count of Antoinette, he is essentially doing the same thing that he did to Louis, finding somebody that's vulnerable and turning them for his own satisfaction.
But she was so willing to do that. Where does the people come in at? If she was willing to be
she was
love,
asking for it.
She wanted that. She was
didn't she literally ask for it in the hotel room?
She asked for it a few times, and she was like his side chick for a long ass time.
Like, for a long time, even though he was telling Louis that she wasn't.
Oh, that was the other half of my point. I was saying that it started with just being that side thing for entertainment for Louis, but once Claudia came into the picture, and even a little bit before that, when he was like being neglectful and holding back from his physical urges, if he's over here limiting himself to not just doing whatever, and he has this one thing here, I mean, you're not giving it to him. And this man, like I said, has been doing what he wanted for over a century. this is a great concession to me in my mind. As far as vampires are going,
know
this
Louis
is a
don't
great
do
concession.
nothing but sit around in the house and read them motherfucking books
And throw shade.
I agree.
That's all Louis do. I'm a be shady.
Yeah. Nine
And the one night,
Lestat is the way he is because his maker unsubscribed for life before teaching him anything, so he has to learn the hard way.
Not unsubscribed.
Yes, he did, and threw his whole self into a fire right in front of him.
Okay,
and
he has abandonment issues.
He has abandonment issues like a mug, and he really went about this whole thing the wrong way. I don't understand. He went about everything the wrong way.
So if Lestat would have came up to you on this, would you be like, yeah, I'll be your lifelong companion because this seems promising? No. Okay, so still Louis is he has to hold some accountability for this.
If Lestat had just murdered 2 people in front of me and I was drunk and I had just tried to kill him and it didn't work and he gave me an ultimatum, I would say yes. Absolutely.
You scared. Killmonger would never. Killmonger would have said you should have took death because that's the honorable way to go out. Okay.
But if it was just a casual, if I thought that I actually had a choice, I would say no. But Louis did not.
Cute.
I'm completely different, bitch. I would have said yes in a heartbeat, bitch. I'm still waiting for Eric Northman to come through my window and change me. So I'm gonna let Lestat.
You didn't even have to do all that, Lestat. You could have just.
You could have asked me that day. You took me to the opera. Maybe gave me a little popcorn. I would have said yes.
My love language is gifts, so I don't know. We might have worked out.
Like to show just how detached Lestat was from just. Like the screws that were loose on him. Louis came to him and was like, "Bitch, I almost killed my nephew." He's like, "Damn, that's crazy. You trying to go to the opera?" Like, what?
Has he seen this shit?
I know in the life of a vampire.
He's lived generations of people dying all around him.
But did he die? That's basically what Stat said. But did he die?
Because Louis still got humanized for the most part. So yeah, this is huge to him. But Lestat seeing people die left and right. He don't give a fuck about human life. So yeah, I understand that it happened.
Every day, B.
Let's move on.
Every day, B.
More people are gonna die. Your whole family's eventually gonna die. This is what we signed up for.
So I'm gonna need you to really get this through your head. You want me to be shocked? Could you imagine if somebody, if a woman came in the room and said my period started today, you'd be like, bitch, okay.
I'm not
critically drinking. He right. Critically got your back today.
Do you want to come up and be on Ashley's side so she can have another Team Louis person over here in her corner?
Right.
Because so she can get her some little backup. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying
is that Lestat made a permanent decision off of temporary feelings.
So did Louis.
With
Claudia.
But true. That's true.
That's true. That's what people do.
And we ain't arguing over Claudia and Louis.
So we gonna ignore Claudia.
Right, we just gonna ignore that huge ass bad decision. That huge thing that's shifting the plot of the show. We just gonna ignore that, but okay.
They probably could have worked it out if Claudia wasn't there. And what was more infuriating for me is like the one day, Louis, the one day you could really lean into your heart. You and Claudia, y'all both dusty. Because y'all, this means the whole time, y'all threw this man a send-off party to kill him. Which means this whole time y'all knew what would have made this man happy. And y'all y'all did not do it at all in any capacity.
And honestly, the finale, maybe the episode before and the finale really was a thing that really pushed me over the edge when it came to I'm a defend Lestat because it was the raw emotion. Now sometimes there are moments where you think to yourself, okay, he's putting on, trying to manipulate the situation or whatever. But in the moments where you just know that it's the balcony scene, how we gushed over that. That balcony scene was
cute.
And then the montage of them doing the planning while everything's going on, like you said, Bree. This is him happy. But it's tragic because he's we find out later that he's known from the beginning what they're planning on doing, but he's still living, trying to just enjoy the moment because, like I said, he could have killed all of them easily and just moved on and started over. But he knew what they were planning, and he still just relished in the moments that they were allowing him to be happy the way that he wanted to be happy. And y'all know this. So, like, Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard?
That made that whole last episode. I was like,
He was
Louis,
doing
you just really.
What you mean? Louis saved him.
I mean, I get that they had crossed the violent threshold in their relationship, so I'm not even mad at him cutting his throat and like he had mercy on it. It really felt like a get back. It was like, this is my get back for you dropping me out the sky. Right. So I'm not even holding Louis for that. Like,
especially
I get it.
knowing the ending. Yeah, that's what.
It's like this my get back. I get that, but it's just like seeing like he was like, oh, I was his and I was all, and it's like you could have just been imagine doing this the whole time.
I do think that is very interesting that you guys keep on bringing up that Louis or Lestat knew that it wasn't Louis' nature being a vampire to do all this, and that's why he was being so tough on him and blah blah blah. So, but it just don't really make any sense to me because we know. Like, we wouldn't go up to a 3-year-old and be like, it's in your motherfucking nature to pay bills, bitch.
Well, that's also a 3-year-old that hasn't lived a whole life as a pimp.
He was a newborn vampire who hasn't lived a whole life as a vampire.
Equate that to a 3-year-old. Yes, maybe a 3-year-old vampire as an adult.
I think Louis would have struggled with that violent nature because of being black, though. Like, it makes it, respectability, politics, how you're supposed to present, all of this, like biting your tongue. I feel like Louis' blackness is the only thing that makes me understand why he would wrestle with being this powerful being now and being violent and outwardly just expressing himself freely because he's black, he's closeted gay. Like, I get that.
That's like, why he did that to that fat man, because he was like, this whole time I've been biting my tongue because I know what my limitations are, and now that I'm the most powerful thing that you know, and you just call me a Negro.
He basically said you chose tonight. You chose tonight to fuck around and find out what he said.
Yeah, so you chose the wrong night for fucking.
Remember that man with the chart?
Find out.
Remember that man with the chart? He was like, so if you what do you say? If you fuck around this much.
Right,
guaranteed to find out. And the less you fuck around, the less you find out.
I mean, but I just feel like also because of his constant repressing himself, when he finally let go, it was always violent. It was always violent because he's constantly repressing. So it's like Lestat was just, I think, trying to get him to be like, you don't have to repress all the time.
And like, when you really think about it, as vampires, because keep in mind, these are vampires. If he would have at least attempted to go through the things that would make their situation a little bit better. So like if he actually followed through with looking for these horrible murderous people and like got his vampire urges out through the hunt, through the things that they naturally do, he was constantly fighting that. So he was like constantly, like you said, just building up, like he was in his human life, building up. And then it's just like, that's not allowing you to make great decisions. That's not allowing you to be conducive to this very toxic relationship.
Great decisions though. Was Lestat making great decisions? Because he killed a motherfucker for singing wrong. Am I wrong?
But that's
no. I think the whole thing was
that was no problem. I actually had that problem.
Actually, I had that whole problem. Was like, I'm a good person. Like, I don't feel like Lestat ever grandstanded that he was like this holier than thou. He was just like, I kill him because I like to do it. I mean, and I can't.
And when he got so, that's like, what he did. That was his response when he called him out on it. Because I'm giving that to you. I felt the same. I told Brie about this. I was like, that wasn't cute. This man, he's so petty. He sat there picking the notes, took this man back to the house and embarrassed him.
Practice singing.
Y'all know Lestat a Scorpio too. Y'all know Lestat a Scorpio too, right?
That was the beginning. That was the beginning of his stunt queen moniker for me.
He is a
stunt queen through and through.
He's just so emotional, and I'm very surprised that y'all say that Louis is emotional and don't have no bound. When
Louis has no boundaries, he does not enforce his boundaries. That's what I mean by no boundaries. He does not enforce his boundaries. No, but he don't pretend.
I was about to say, he don't.
He's open. He's very open.
I think the one outward boundary that he had was that Louis couldn't be like in love with somebody else with that type of thing. I mean, I don't think he was in love with Antoinette until it got to the point where, because there was a whole acknowledgement where he was like, come in or what was that, my love, or something like that. And then Louis answered, and he was like, I wasn't talking to you. So yeah, that's an outward acknowledgement of love to somebody, whether he meant it or he was trying to hurt somebody. Yes, at that point, fine, I could say that he might have loved her, but before that, I feel like because he was just having a little peace with Antoinette, and that wasn't established that they loved each other at that point. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that he would have had. I mean, he probably would have had a problem. It's that, but I don't think it would have got to that point like it did with. If he would have had that same reaction if he didn't hear their hearts dancing.
And how didn't he love her? Because the whole stipulation with Claudia or with him taking Lestat back was killing that bitch, and he did not do that.
Yeah, because that was already deep into his. That was already deep into his neglect. What you not finna
do is just have me out here, and then you saying I gotta kill her. Okay, I wouldn't listen to his ass either.
Because if I kill her, you gonna give me some booty? Then you gonna give me some booty?
You so holier. We can't kill bad people. We can't kill good people, but kill your side cheek. I'm not. Your principles are all over the place. You wishy-washy, and it only matter when you want it to matter. I'm not killing nobody for your ass because you can't even kill anything. So shut up. You want to kill her? Kill her yourself.
You can't even kill anything.
You want to kill Boo? Right? Kill her yourself. That's what
I really do feel he dropped this man from the clouds.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
And then also he looked at you in your face and said, "I'll leave you alone. You just got to say it."
And he still didn't say it.
And what did he do?
He didn't say it.
He didn't say it because, again, illusion of choice. If he would have said, "I want you to leave me alone," do you really think Lestat would have left him alone?
Yeah, actually.
He sent that man a record with his side bitch's voice on it.
Oh, that was a he's on the playbook.
I just convinced y'all little toxicity because that's how y'all because how are y'all going to judge Louis off of his emotional reactions to the shit that Lestat was throwing at him?
But then, yeah, he did make an album with his side bitch voice on it, but apparently it did what it needed to do because Louis swam across the Mississippi to get some booty.
No, he wanted to beat his ass and then get some booty, which is understandable because
which is for them the same thing.
How disrespectful! And he knew that he was gonna get that. So emotionally manipulative.
He was surprised. He was shook. He didn't know it was gonna work. For 10 years, he was turning out his gifts. For 10 years, and the only reason he kept on because he didn't say to leave him alone.
He knew that was gonna work. You didn't
looking at his reaction. It was shock. It was like noticing he was wet. He was like, "Oh my God, you swam!" Like that turned Lestat on. He was like, "You swam across the Mississippi for me? Because that was gonna get you here quicker."
Just like y'all said, Lestat is a stunt queen, so I do not buy his reaction at all. He obviously did that for a particular reason. Because
how you get obviously out of that?
Okay, it could be. I feel like he did it for a particular reason because he knew that was gonna be the one. That was gonna be the straw that broke the camel's back because that was disrespectful as fuck.
But so like he said, that's the straw that broke his camel's back. Then that's gonna make him love me. If that's the straw that broke the camel's back,
that's I don't know. That's gonna get a reaction out of Louis. Because all the other stuff that he did didn't really get a reaction out of him. Louis was done.
And he could have said it. And he could have said it.
And I don't think it mattered what kind of reaction he got from Louis. He just wanted Louis to talk to him.
Of course, because he is in love with this man. Madly in love to the fact that he's going to fight for 10 years with no response.
So you emotionally manipulate somebody just so that you could get some kind of reaction out of them? That's okay.
It's trash. It's trash. But also accountability. Yes, it's trash, Lestat, but also it's trash, Louis, because you ran right into it.
So
just ran right to him and started right all over again.
To react to his abuse or to his abuser, it's trash for him to react to.
It's trash for him to choose to continue to. When you have an out.
So we're victim blaming. That's what we're doing.
It's like victim blaming light.
Because victim blaming light.
LITE. I just feel
Chris
like
y'all
if
are
you were
vampire victim
victim
blaming.
blaming,
Absolutely.
I just feel like if this was me, granted, we would have never got here because bitch, I would have been the vampire for you, Lestat. Everybody, bitch, you ain't got to tell me twice. But wait, don't look at the screen. Ashley Twan is trying to use the eye trick. It ain't gonna work. It ain't. I'm just saying, it just, for me, if it was me in this position, if I'm going through this, even if I am fighting for however long time, maybe I didn't make it the full 10 years or whatever. But if I made it to like the 5 and I'm sitting here really allowing, keep in mind, which is just like, what, bitch? It took me 8 months to recover.
8 months
with another vampire's help.
Right.
Like, you couldn't walk. Like, that's crazy to me. So like, we need to be able to see these things and make great decisions for ourselves. But the thing that also was irritating me was the fact that he was trying to force Claudia after that to be then. And this isn't like this is a point for Lestat, because this is, and if anything, I'm trying to level with you to understand. Like, I understand Lestat is not the best because like that whole thing about forcing her to be nice to him, or you could do better. When he said you could do better, I said, bitch, if you don't get the fuck out of my face, this man just dropped you from here to here. Spent 8 months trying to raise your pitiful ass.
After that extremely violent fight that they had,
after that which was very triggering
out of her.
Yeah, that was extremely
very triggering.
Yeah, that was.
But it's like, I don't understand moving forward in this way. And you don't, like, if you're gonna choose to go back, I feel like you should do it with your whole chest and not a couple months later decide out of nowhere from a one mind conversation that you're gonna end up killing this man. And then the reason that it was irritating for me with Claudia, because it's the same thing with the evil people and the good people in eating, but not really following through and doing it because you're playing with people. And then when it came to Claudia and making this whole plan, yeah, she assumed he wanted to kill Lestat. Louis followed through. They making plans while they fucking and shit, talking about how we gonna kill him. Get to the moment, bitch. We don't have many options. This is the plan, and it finally worked. We're here. We are here.
That's what
Claudia you pulled the shit that you pulled. Now you fucking with Claudia.
I mean, Claudia witnessed that abuse firsthand and then nursed him back to health.
Yeah,
and now Claudia is with him. And now Claudia is with him, and he is not telling her that the powerful vampire that we just killed is alive. So I'm gonna just wait until he come over here to kill both of us without telling you. Trash.
Well, Claudia ain't there.
No, he's like, he ain't gonna kill me because I know deep down he probably still love my ass, and me trying to slit his throat probably.
Well, that's even worse because the only victim now is Claudia.
That's why I say he ain't really he pimped her out, because you know Louis probably like, he dropped me from the heavens, I slit his throat, we even. He probably gonna take me back at the end of the day.
So that's just like, that's another thing.
Now
it's
he
just
went
like
a more abusive person. So
well, we don't know that yet. We don't know.
I went ahead and read spoilers because I just could not.
Well, don't share them all. Yeah,
I'm not gonna share, but which is why the problem, like, once again, Louis is the problem. Louis is the problem.
Armand is that bitch. I don't know. I think Louis likes being in abusive relationships.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So,
but he likes, I don't know if he likes being the more submissive one, but there's definitely a power dynamic on every relationship
because he don't take accountability. He has no boundary enforcement.
Lestat don't take accountability.
He complains. He likes to be the victim. He likes to be the damsel in distress. He
really does. Like, nothing gives me that he does not love it being the victim.
He enjoys being the victim. Really, so here he gets to be the victim, because you always get to come out clean when you're the victim. It's a powerless vampire.
Y'all are describing Lestat.
Me in his
Can
face.
You name me one time Lestat took accountability for his actions? He didn't even.
He said, "I'm trash. Yeah, I like to play with my food." And
that's not accountability.
He owned it. He owned it. Wow.
That's not accountability. Would be like, Louis, with the whole Louis holding his emotions back. Take accountability in how you played a part on him being emotionally fucked up.
No, he was just emotionally stunted, period. I think Louis probably was just emotionally stunted already.
But even more so once he was stripped away from all of the people that he's known all his life. You took a part in killing people. You took a part of essentially isolating this man in this goddamn house, and you wonder why he's withdrawn emotionally. Take accountability for that and be like, let's talk.
Him in this house.
Ain't nobody kept him in that house. He decided to sulk for years and live in that for years of his own
after
accord.
He almost killed his nephew.
Okay, but did he die?
No, but he almost did.
Did he die? No, he didn't. Y'all don't let that go. Wait, so Louis was wrong for trying to make Claudia like Lestat. Claudia a real monster because she tried to manipulate Louis to kill his love. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. True. That's what a monster does. Mm-hmm. I love me some Louis, but he a hot damn mess. Exactly. He's mildly powerless because of his diet. He's wasting away most of the time. Only real villains keep trophies. Exactly. I mean, no, I don't think we're saying that. For me, like in life, would I be in a relationship with either one of them? Absolutely not. But I always appreciate a person who can come and say who they are and not try to hide it, so I know what I'm dealing with. And I feel like with Lestat, that's once okay, as his partner, you know what you're dealing with Lestat. Now I guess understand Louis thinking that Lestat would never escalate to violence with him. I don't know why he would have thought that, because man punched a hole in the priest's face. So I'm not sure how he decided violence was off the table for this being. But Lestat was always forthcoming. If not in his words, he never hid who he was from Louis. I like people who gonna tell me they dirt. I don't like people who walk around playing victim and playing high and mighty, and they always got a reason why it's okay for them to be trash and everybody else is the terrible one. I don't like people like that.
That was Louis. That wasn't Lestat. That was Louis.
Lestat was always
that was Louis.
Lestat was very much. He was not forthcoming at all. He didn't tell Louis his origin. He didn't tell Louis his origin story. He didn't tell.
Did Louis ask?
Yeah, it was Claudia that was asking. It wasn't Louis.
He didn't tell, but you're saying forthcoming, so that's you coming.
No, I'm talking about his behavior. He's like, I like to kill people. I'm extra. I like
to have sex with other people.
I like to sleep with people. I enjoy pleasure in all the ways.
He didn't tell Louis about his years-long relationship and that he loved this woman. He didn't tell her about his.
He knew about Antoinette.
That's the thing. Is this the one thing that he wasn't forthcoming about? Because my backup to my man is because he initially had that little moment and had her. I feel like by the time they got to where they demanded that he get rid of this bitch and that he killed this bitch, he's already in a place where if he's to only give himself to Louis, he's not getting nothing out of this relationship right now. Nothing besides shade and resentment.
He didn't say come be my monogamous partner. He just said be my companion. And that doesn't always mean monogamy. I mean, I come home to you, but I don't know. I just feel like you say he was violent up front, but his willingness to manipulate wasn't evident. I think that was also evident because he was talking in the back chat to you at the card game, manipulating the game in your face. Did we not do this with before they even slept together? He was in the back chat with Louis telling him all this stuff and then switch their cards in front of Louis. So no, the willingness to cheat and manipulate was also there. Louis told his childhood crush that Lestat was a lot and he wasn't perfect. Louis, I'm like, is that me? It's another Brie. I'm like, wait, exactly. Louis know nothing about, but Louis also didn't ask.
But that's not what forthcoming is. Yeah, forthcoming. If I ask him something, you're basically lying by omission. You ain't telling him.
Why are you so uninterested in your companion?
Yeah, like telling him very, very big things about how you got where you were. Because
that's just also very traumatizing. This man had to eat as a human. He had to eat live bloated bodies.
You don't even ask them. It didn't even occur to them until after he dropped Louis' ass from the Chrysler building height to asking this man about himself. Like
the one time Paul asked Lestat about himself, Lestat almost flew across there, took his neck out. So I wouldn't ask him shit
because
either.
Both of those situations, number one, and Louis did check him though.
He
said, "Cut that, not my family, bitch." So he checked his ass, but damn, I forgot my point. Damn it, I was right on it.
Don't worry, the chat gonna come in. Lestat is like any man. If he can't have it on the regular, it's gonna be some problems. And Louis withheld that thing for years. He weaponized the D against Lestat, and he wasn't having it. Let's see. Louis had family and identity issues. He couldn't properly explore the relationship since he never really explored himself completely. Louis never cared about Lestat origin or other vampires. That was Claudia's curiosity by being a child forever. Louis was fine with just him and Lestat. I think I read that one. I was wondering why Bree was in the chat. Hello, Bree too. Okay, so we caught up. But no, Louis was so uninterested. Like it didn't occur to them until after they realized, oh, this man can fly.
Yeah.
Like, which also they was like, you can fly. It's like, well, I guess Louis don't remember them floating in the first episode.
Wait, that is very true. Why didn't think about that?
He never thought to ask. Like
they were literally levitating and having sex.
Very uninterested. First of all, when they first got together, he didn't even know Lestat was a vampire. So what you got to be interested in? You ain't gonna be interested in his backstory because you don't even know he's a vampire at this point.
Well, he was interested in the lifestyle that he had.
I think Louis was stupid by not realizing the red flags because you literally stopped time. That's weird. Why wouldn't he ask about that?
Oh, a clarification on that too is I don't think he's stopping time. I think he's because like watching some of them scenes back, I don't see like water freezing in place. I think he's like actively manipulating everybody, like mind controller. So it's like he does it on a wide scale because I don't think stopping time is a little OP.
I thought he was stopping people from moving. I thought he stopped them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he was like because he, you know how he controlled all them men to all of a sudden get up, pack their shit up, and just walk out the room. I think he did that, but he just told him to stand still.
Oh, okay.
That type of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
But continue. I saw that in
but I don't know. I would have had questions if we was making out. If we was making out and we started floating, I might have been like, hey. Right. So was it me or did my feet leave?
Now I'm gonna be like, we gonna talk about this afterwards.
Did Louis need to ask more questions than he did? Absolutely, because sir, you got this French white man that you don't.
Right, Louis,
out of nowhere.
You wasn't even like concerned that he was like with a racially charged time period.
Ain't nobody worried about these eyes and nails.
This white man is gonna be it. He's gonna get me. Like, okay.
I'm just saying. But in Louis' defense, he was trying to get away from that motherfucker.
He could have died, then you'll be waiting for me forever. See, I'm toxic. See, this me right here.
I ain't gonna lie, Bree be feeding me into my toxic side too, because I'm telling you, I'm like, bitch. Because I can't get over. Had it been me, it's, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just say this out loud. It's probably projection. It's probably projection because I can't wrap my head around it, bitch. Like
I could never be a Louis. I think I said it in a comment in the other video. I was like, I never identify with people who are like are victims or like have codependent abandonment. You just like the victim kind of role. I just don't usually identify with. I always cheer for the villains, like because I always feel like villains, if nothing else, they're gonna have a reason and they're gonna have a reason why we gotta kill 50% of the human race. What you got, boo? And y'all don't never have nothing. So that's why I'm always on the villain side. So,
I will say this for Louis.
Thanos was right.
I think that it's the people that are watching and Daniel that are surrounding him be like, bitch, you are battered. Like, because Daniel tried to tell him on several occasions, like, this is not. And Louis
Daniel
didn't
was
want to
fully
admit that he was the victim.
Oh, and Louis, I always felt like Louis is also tapped into his inner stunt queen because this whole interview with you eating in front of me the whole time, apparently having vampire sex that I didn't know you was having in front of me, draining your vampire boyfriend of his blood in front of me, making weird desserts my wife likes. Like, what's up, bro? Like, y'all trying to pull me in a threesome or we got beef?
I am very interested
this is
to
weird.
see how this goes.
It's weird energy.
This whole
it feels like a couple trying to recruit you to a threesome. That's what it feels like. That's what that whole energy feel like.
We can't even play like Daniel not interested because you saw Louis reading his mind. He was thinking about that man weight, what he was wearing.
Wasn't that a gay club that they was at when they first met?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were. The intention initially, I feel like, in Daniel's eyes, was to do some hanky panky and get an interview afterwards.
Get some booty.
Yeah.
He said, so we ain't doing that now.
Right. Right. You a vampire? Hold on, wait. Let's talk
Louis
about
like Louis thinking like he might want to see if that offer still stand. I'm just saying it's awkward. It's getting.
I was about to say because Daniel did want it. He was begging him for it because he didn't think Louis was taking advantage of his gifts and seeing how he was living and everything. He was like, "Nigga, you don't want this. Do me.
Yeah,
I'll show you."
I think one interesting thing that I hope that they dive into and see.
Don't tell us spoilers.
Yeah, don't. Ooh, I didn't.
No, I wasn't gonna say no spoilers.
No,
not somebody in the chat.
Yeah, we saw it at the same time.
All right, we're gonna let it play, but I should have put no spoilers, so it's cool.
Yeah,
I
mean, yeah, and
cool.
that's kind of fun to know too. See how
that is cool. I'm actually interested to see how that path.
Wait, let me see.
Connects.
Now I want to see.
It's from Nine Tail Phoenix.
Daniel is with Armand in the books. I'm curious.
Oh
to know
yeah,
that
I
path.
did know that.
I don't want to know that right now, but I'm curious to see how that path connects.
Yeah, I'm cool.
I'm like, okay, how we get there?
I think one thing,
especially because you ain't no spring chicken right now.
They say is important to keep in mind is that we are all hearing this from Louis' perspective, and Louis has changed his perspective multiple times.
Yes,
he's not an accurate historian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So can you imagine how actually terrible he was if this is supposed to be his version?
This is from your version?
It's like, well, Louis strangely passive all the time and never does anything all the time. Well, it's because it's his point of view.
The first time Daniel said the first interview, he read Lestat for filth. Like he was going in on Lestat.
Yeah.
So was Lestat worse than what Louis remembers, and he just softened over time?
Right.
We don't know.
And that's the thing. Bree. Oh, go ahead, Bree. I was gonna mention our the ideas about season 2, but you got something that you were about to say before that. Me and Bree was talking one day about what we think season 2 could be or where it could go from here. And this was before the finale, I think. And we were saying that because one of my biggest gripes, if you wasn't watching all the episodes that we were talking about afterwards, one of my biggest gripes was I don't like that I can't trust the show in what I see. I don't like the fact that I'm watching this, and to be honest, anything we've seen right now, there's no guarantee that it actually happened because of the shots of him forgetting it was raining or him presenting this whole image of them battling. Oh my God, like Claudia being confused about whether to kill him.
Yeah, I like when Daniel read him for filth right there.
He did.
He was like, now you want me to believe.
Right.
Claudia was worried.
This girl was begging to throw the body in the fire, but you over here wanted to choke. And that's the thing. He got to the point where he was about to choke her.
You saw him choke her, Ashley? Did you see that?
I did see that.
You saw your friend choking a young girl?
About how I think that Louis is more abusive to Claudia than he is to Lestat, but I mean, we talking about Lestat versus Louis.
Well, sometimes abusive people, if they feel like they don't have the power, Louis could very well be a Lestat if he was in the power position. That's what I'm saying.
Which I don't get that showed actually, because like the parallels between, remember when Lestat and Louis had gotten that fight and Lestat chokes Claudia first. It was kind of the same thing, like up against the wall, kind of like showing
the parallels.
The parallels. And once Louis is in power, does he react just like his maker? It was interesting in that kind of way.
Honestly, like I want it, and this is something I will fully allow somebody in the comments to confirm this for me. I honestly don't think the sire bond is what we have been led to believe in other cinema, like I was saying like earlier. No. I don't think besides the fact that he can't read their minds, specifically the people that he changes. Right. I don't really know if there's like a linkage between like personality and all that type of stuff when it comes to the people you turn.
I think because they're saying there's a spoiler about Louis' memory issues. I think at the end of the season, it became very clear that Armand is part of the reason related to it in some
why
way.
His memory stuff different.
Yeah, he got very protective when Daniel was like really reading him, and it was like clearly bringing back. You could see the trauma response in Louis, and I think Armand noticed that. I feel like it wasn't just him being protective. Like, no, you're pushing him. I feel like it was giving girl like my therapist is sitting here with me, and you're trying to push me, and my therapist is like, you're gonna trigger them, and electroshock therapy is gonna not work if you trigger them. Like, it was giving that.
Remember what you were saying about the rocks? Like, that goes to your therapist similarities. He was like, once he got a little overwhelmed, he ran to that room, put his feet in them rocks.
Yeah, put your feet
Armand told him to do that. Just put your feet in the rocks.
Gonna do some guided meditation, girl. Lestat's evil. He's horrible. He's the monster. Like, that's what it felt like.
But with season 2, though, it would be very, very interesting. We was talking about the idea of even though I kind of didn't want to do this anymore after we saw the finale of season 2, but I wanted to see the same events kind of played out, but from either Lestat or Claudia's position.
Yeah.
Maybe we jump around to different viewpoints, so we still get a new show, but it's just like we get all the details of things, hopefully in a better light, because if Armand is the reason why Louis messing up details, we find that out through the other people's
other perspective,
right? But I kind of don't want to see that now, because I just want to move forward and seeing how this Armand situation,
this whole thing,
I really want to move forward versus going back. Even though I think that's a really good idea too. If they can, I think that's how the books
go. I think the books go into like the whole Armand thing. So like, I think that's where we're gonna go. But that would be cool to kind of see it from another perspective. Like,
they
just
could
some
do
of the
episode
small,
or two.
Even flashbacks. Like, if we get another perspective of like Lestat or Claudia later, and like them like remembering the situation or something like that, would be kind of cool. So
we found them. Well, no, I think the missing pages were specifically about her rape. So never mind.
Yeah, but I hope Lestat comes back like this season.
I think he will.
He better.
Because Lestat, in the movie, Lestat came back at the very end, I think.
Yeah. Nine-Tail Phoenix said they've only done half the first book. Okay, I was curious, like, how much of the book had they covered this season? So they've only covered half of the first book. With this season, so that is good to know.
I do like to hear that, because I want as many seasons as this. Honestly, like, just the fact that it's caused this much conversation over just their relationship alone. There's so much stuff we haven't fully touched on when it comes to how great this show is, in my opinion. Like, I could be living in hyperbole, ain't that right, Ashley? But I could be living in hyperbole, but I honestly, this has been one of like the highlights as far as new shows, like an impact coming right out the gate. I was completely invested in this from 10 minutes into episode 1. So like, I cannot wait for it to come back.
It's one of the better shows. Like, the writing's so poetic. I can go watch it again. It's like 7 episodes. It just feels so easy to just watch again. And they all like put their foot in it. And so any new actors they introduce into this show, like Armand, like, seems great, perfect. Love the look, love it. He better act his ass off.
Crazy.
I know that.
Yeah, because you got shoes to fill, bitch. Yeah, everybody was serving this season. Everybody.
Yes. Yeah,
I just want to say, as an ending, I'm going to stand 10 toes down and saying that, and this goes to show what you were saying, Antoine, how they made this series so much better. Because was I having a Louis versus Lestat discussion with, and I like the movies. I know Antoine told me that y'all wasn't feeling the movie.
Oh, that movie was Deuce. How do you? Because now I still haven't went back and have a debate about how you could ever say out of your mouth that movie.
Well, I think me and Antoine were talking about, since I saw the movie first, it's kind of easier for me to go from the movie and then expand into the show, because it just gives so much more perspective. I couldn't imagine going from this show that gives so much perspective.
Oh yeah, you should.
So much backstory.
Yeah,
you should go back and watch it. Yeah, go back and watch it.
But you used to watch it every year. You've seen it recently. Yeah, she would watch it like every other year, apparently.
I'm gonna enjoy it.
Now you could have me convinced the Tom Cruise Lestat is a monster.
Yeah, because that was really.
Are you?
There
Like,
was
I'm
no
about to
rationale between anything.
No. I'm saying, how can you say that Tom Cruise's Lestat was a monster, but you can't admit that?
Because there's
Sam's
rationale
Lestat.
behind.
He had no emotional connection to Louis in the show. They weren't in a relationship. He was just doing stuff like he was unhinged in the movie.
When I say literally no reason for Louis to be staying around Lestat. There was
in the movie.
None.
There was no reason.
There was none. Even Louis' reactions and I feel like his conflicts with who he was and all that stuff. Granted, I know, like, this was my defense against the movie versus the series, was that this is a series. This is a 7-hour movie. We get to get this stuff fleshed out. And I understand it's a whole lot of shit in this book that y'all are condensing down to this little bit. But as far as like, if I just watch this, hopefully I can't honestly say that because I can't take away the impact that this series has had on me. So that's kind of a moot point. But it's just like watching it back, even trying to take your expectations out of it, it was a snore fest for me. Until Claudia showed up, and Claudia was like, because I think she was the most immersive character in there. Like, it wasn't Kristen Dunst, that was Claudia.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Brad Pitt
she
was
was
just kind of one
me.
note. You couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Tom Cruise Lestat was like killing slaves. Like,
oh yeah,
like he was definitely into like just killing slaves.
Well,
I was just like, oh, this got problematic for me.
To be fair, I think that's how the book goes too. Like, the show definitely diverts off like from their relationship because they didn't have a relationship before in the book either. I really want to start reading these damn books.
Same.
So to give me a little bit more perspective. But I was gonna say it speaks to how good the show is because I never really cared about. It was just like a movie to me. Didn't really care about their dynamic that much. But them adding all those layers of him being black, him being in the closet gay, adding all that stuff for me.
Yeah, that was
perfect.
Such good choices.
It's why I'm on Louis' side because
okay, this is what we doing. Okay,
are we revving it back up? We gonna make it to 2 hours and 30 minutes now.
So this is what we doing. So we not black because we like Lestat.
I'm just saying, adding all these to me, just like it added depth to Lestat for y'all, it added depth to Louis for me to where I can feel like where. Don't do that, Antoine.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I
like
with you.
Because I absolutely love the change for Louis. I love 100%. Jacob Anderson and Louis' portrayal in this. Like, they did such a good job of humanizing both of them.
Go back and watch the review that we did of the first episode. You can see how much I was. Listen, Jacob, I might not just love Louis in every aspect, but they doing what they're supposed to do. Bitch, I can talk about it for years from now. That scene of him giving that monologue in that confessional, bitch. His being is rooted in me.
His roots in me, honey. I know. I was sitting in that scene like, I know, baby.
I was sweating. Too. I was tired.
It was
they had floating gay vampire sex. I mean, Jesus, how do you come back from that?
Right, the little cute little apple bottom. I was
just like, I mean, go to the confession. I agree with Lestat though. Like, oh, honey, you down bad, bitch. Get out of here. Get out of here. I agree with him in that. You in the confessional? This what we doing? Okay.
You ain't have to kill people though. Lord, I just can't imagine like how traumatic it was for him. Like me looking at all those layers and then being like, if I was in that situation, I had just dealt with this traumatic thing. Like, how would I look at it? That's why I'm so much on Louis' side, and I'm gonna stay there. And that's my man, and I'm gonna hold him down.
Well, I'm a stunt queen myself. I'm a stunt queen myself. I'm a Libra. I'm extra. I'm dramatic.
I'm a little cynical.
Right.
I'm a little burn the world down.
Like if we all, I guess we all know who we would be like if we returned to vampires. I would definitely be very easy to make that transition over to vampire.
I'm talking
like,
about
this what we doing now.
I wouldn't take another breath without Yes coming out. Like,
and my ass would be sucking on rats.
Ooh, girl.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You gotta have more self-work.
I'll be feasting on. I'm talking about prime people that only eat grapes their entire life. Like I'm about to live the life. I'm gonna learn how to control it though. I ain't about to just be out here killing. That's one thing.
But you be able to learn how to control it as a 1 year, 2 year.
No, and I'm gonna make some mistakes.
Right.
I'm gonna make some mistakes.
Just like Louis did, and Lestat did not give him grace to make those mistakes. Like
he did give him grace
yes,
when he killed the man. He was
did.
like, "Good job, babe. I'm so proud of you. You murdered somebody. Stop being a puss about it." He was actually proud of him.
But I'm even talking about trying to be supportive of the choices that Louis was making when it comes to being a vampire. Lestat know this is stupid. He know everybody around you is gonna die. You just prolonging the inevitable. But I'm gonna let you do that. I'm telling you right now, it's stupid. But I'm gonna let you do that, baby.
But did he support him?
He did.
He actively
I can't be extra
because that's
now,
what I want in a
though.
relationship. That's why I want a relationship.
I can't be extra because you choosing to live a life of minimalism.
Right.
I'm gonna be extra. Do you
use
see
them words though, because that's the thing. Lestat is a maximalist at its peak.
It's rugs in every room, probably 2 or 3. It's
Bitch,
pictures in every. There's nothing minimal about.
When Claudia left
in that goddamn house too,
girl. When Claudia left and we saw how they was living, I was like, this ain't Lestat. And the fact that Lestat was putting up with it, trudging through the papers on the ground, kicking over the rats that Louis throwing over his shoulder, dealing with the reeds.
Ooh.
I was like, no, this is love. This got to be some kind of twisted ass love because I would have been gone.
Louis is a Libra. I'm a Libra.
I mean, I'm a Libra. Listen, no, this is the one thing I can understand. Libras are moody. Like I be like moody. I don't even like myself sometimes. I don't be knowing why. I just be in the mood. Like, so I get it. And I get depressed. I'll be
very indecisive.
Yeah, my house will be like that.
Yeah.
Let me be down bad. So I get it. It's just I love me some Lestat, y'all. That's my toxic king.
I'm a Libra and my husband's a Scorpio, but I assure you, my husband is not grab me by my neck and dropping me from the air.
Okay, but y'all not vampires. You know what I'm saying? a little bump off the top bump. You know what I'm saying?
That's Lestat right. Lestat doing that to Louis was him getting pushed off the bed in human speak.
It took him 8 months to recover.
Yeah, it took me eight months to emotionally get over you pushing me out of bed for no reason.
Whatever.
Look, I gotta eat, but this was great. Thank you, Ashley, for coming up with us and arguing interview. I'm so sad it's over because I could do this every week if there was a new episode out.
Next season we have to do it like every week because I'd be down for that. This is actually the show outside of the past couple of the last episodes that I actually was like, ooh, Interview with the Vampires on. Let me go watch. I don't do that with many shows. I did that with Game of Thrones. Interview with a Vamp. Big Brother, but that's live stream, so I would just have that on all the time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But
that's the same. This show made me be like, I don't give a fuck. My channel, anime channel. We do lectures for nursing school.
We talk about
Interview with Vampires. So I understand. It's too good, but you have to come back and chat with us. I think it was so fun having your energy up here, and of course,
now that you broke the seal, Ashley be watching anime occasionally, and she got opinions, so you can pop up here. We not about to hold you to the stake if you don't know no names and shit.
Did you? See
I don't be know nobody name.
Right.
Nobody's.
Nobody
at all.
I don't know nobody name.
I actually was just reminded for the first time and I'll be forgetting shit too. So when I went on Instagram and somebody was talking about how when Rainer told Aaron real casually that him and Bertolt were Titans, I had totally forgot that scene happened.
She was like, "Who is these?"
Look, we got that mommy brain. Like my memory be like, "Bitch, I don't remember that happening."
Ain't y'all both around the same number when it comes to the babies?
Nah, I got 2.
Oh, why did I?
Well, I birthed 2, but I got 3.
I was about to say that. I was like, where did I add another baby from? But I understand.
Yeah. So I mean, mommy brain's great. Thank you, Critically Drinking, for saying that. Thanks everybody in the chat for coming through. I know we got a lot of subscribers related to this content, so I'm glad a lot of y'all could catch it. Shout out to Nine Tail Phoenix.
Absolutely.
For chatting and being engaged. We had Bree number 2 and Lisa was in here chatting it up. So shout out to y'all for coming by. I appreciate y'all. This was great. So we gotta see if we have strong opinions about another show. We gotta come up here.
Absolutely.
Okay. I like arguing. So
me too.
Ashley be on them comments.
Yeah. I said, okay.
I got my nice brick background now.
Yeah,
so
that's how your opinion was. Brick
Right.
walls. I got you. I feel you. It's cool, but it's great. Great convo had me rolling. I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. I'm going to. It should be on YouTube, but I might pull it and then repost it again. So just be on the lookout for it, and make sure y'all leave a comment under. It should post, but just leave a comment, get the engagement up, so other Interview the Vampire fans can see it. And check out this.
I was phasing through my wall, but I always pay back strong, Christy.
Oh, vision face ass.
Oh, vision face.
Y'all have a good night and have a good week. Bye.
Bye, y'all.